It was the 2015 champion Frederick Osbo who got the jump out of the gate with a solid win in Long Beach. But as the series heads south to Central Florida and Orlando Speed World, all of the world's top 32 drifters will try to take the opportunity to pull Osbo back and stake their own claim at the 2018 crown. Who's going to be the driver who can offset Osbo? Let's go behind the scenes as we explore the wild world of professional drifting, only on Formula Drift Insider. Before we kick things off at round 2 of the Formula Drift Championship, let's digress and go back to the streets of Long Beach. Round 1, the very unforgiving track, is the other variable compared to the competitors. Forrest Wang, after a year hiatus, comes back and in grand fashion ends up on the podium. And after a second place finish in 2017, Osbo wants redemption.
Long Beach was pretty solid. I mean, we basically accomplished what we wanted to do there. We wanted to end up, top of the standings. It's been a while since I've been on the top, so obviously didn't get a win, but coming out of there top 5 is always a good feeling. I mean, starting off strong, beginning of the year, you can carry that momentum all the way through. So we're feeling good. The car is working amazing. We didn't really make a lot of changes from last year. We found a lot of stuff at the end of the year, and we've just kind of rolled with it. A lot of people make big changes over the off season, but then either it can work really good for you or you can be chasing your tail. Fortunately, we didn't really make a lot of changes and car's comfortable, and I feel like we got out of the first round sitting right where we want to.
Yeah, so first round of the season, Streets of Long Beach, was a great start for me and the Worthouse Drift team. We managed to qualify second, Peter qualified first, and leading into the tandem battles, we're feeling really good on that track, and honestly, it's my favorite track of the season. So, I was feeling very good, very comfortable in the car and everything else. Going into the top 8 battle with Alec Condedale, we managed to put on a sweet lead run, and while chasing, coming around the first corner, Rolls joint snapped on the rear suspension arm, and I kept on going even though the car was all over the place. I managed to make it through the second turn, and just going around the last turn, the wheel was like jammed in the wheel arch because I didn't stop. It broke the rest of the arms, bent a coil over, broken axle. So that was us. What we thought was us out of the event. But at the same time, Alec managed to get an incomplete for hitting the wall with a correction. So we both basically scored a 0 from that chase run, and they scored it on our lead run, and we managed to get the win to move on to top 4. The team worked extremely hard to try to replace all the parts on time, but unfortunately we just ran out of time and couldn't get back on track.
Yeah, battle me and Osbo. First I was leading. I tried to do my best lead line, and I managed to do it. It was one of the best of my runs in case of leading from the whole competition, and I was very happy about it. And then about chasing, I try also to stay as close to him before the first corner. I clutch kicked before he did it. So I was like hoping that he will also do it in correct time. He did it, so I was lucky in a way. And it was amazing feeling to go behind him, like stay within the same proximity to the whole corner, really like door to door. I was expecting that he maybe go on a throttle a bit earlier, but it was my fault. I should be a bit easier on him in this corner. I hit him with the wheel to wheel, so my front wheel contact with his front wheel. My left front wheel stuck a bit, stopped for a moment, the car starts to rotate, spin out, and I was straight on the last corner. So that was it for me.
First round to get up there in the finals and drive against Osbo, it was amazing. I mean, it was the farthest I've ever come in an FD championship round. He was on. He brought a new car to play, but it was no slouch. They had that thing dialed in and it was ready to play, and he was everywhere. It was a tough battle. We went one more time in the finals with Osbo, and we gave him a run for it, but he was just a little more dialed and a little better with his chase game, and that's something I'm going to be working on all year. And no matter how good you get at drifting, you can always get better at tandem. So that's something that I'm going to be working on, like I said, all year, and just trying to step up my tandem game, because we know I can drive lead runs. I qualify great all the time. I just had a hard time chasing, and now that we got some grip and the car's working really good, I just got to work on my chase game and bring it strong, and hopefully puts us back on the box.
Winning in Long Beach was way beyond expectations. It was something that you can't really even dream of, with a brand new car and with the amount of talent right now. So making that happen was probably one of the biggest days of my career. It turned out to be a tit-for-tat battle. Forrest had amazing angle, great line. We were a little bit faster and gapped him, and the judges couldn't call a winner. So here we were going one more time against one of the most stylish drifters out there. We got to clean it up a little bit. I had a better line for my lead. We retained our speed, was able to win the first event. And I think coming out strong and really showing who's the boss, or showing who's able to really deal with the pressure that early in the season means a lot for the next 7 rounds.
The composure and professionalism of Frederick Osbo is apparent. He's out for blood. Next question, who's going to get the win in Orlando?
Formula Drift Insider on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by Black Magic. Own your shine. By Gum Out, Science In, Performance Out. By Air Force, Aim High. And by the Formula Drift app. Download the FD app in the iOS or Android store now.
OSW, Orlando Speed World. It's hot, it's humid. James Dean wants to defend his crown, and Frederick Osbo wants to take it from him.
We've had 2 really successful years here in Orlando, and after struggling in 2015, we were able to put it together 2016 and 17. I think a lot of guys learned from what we did last year, having a quite fast car through the infield, being able to run the preferred line, but with great speed. So I think this year is going to be one of our toughest battles here ever.
I'm feeling pretty confident this weekend. My ladder's looking solid for how I'm running. I think my lead runs are on point. Both qualifying runs were really consistent, 96, 95. So I'm not too concerned about that. Tomorrow I'm just really going to focus on getting the timing coming off the bank and trying to work through that smoke to keep good proximity into that outer zone 2. I think that's the biggest hurdle for myself or anybody here, and that's what we'll work on, and things are looking good.
Orlando for me is very hot. It's like coming from Ireland, it's a big challenge. So we have windows in our cars because I don't like the interior of the car filling up with smoke, but the bad thing about that is it gets super hot inside, so it's like a sauna in there. This track is so hard on tires, so if you qualify high, your tires are almost finished after your lead run. So while you're chasing, it's very hard to make, you're just like running out of tire towards the end of the second corner. So tire-wise I think tire situation is the biggest challenge, but we're lucky we're running the Falcons, and they're actually one of the longest lasting tires on the grid. So overall I think we're in a good place, slightly better than last year, so I'm going to push really hard this weekend.
Hardest part about this track, I think, is setting yourself up for coming off the bank and the transition from the first inner clip to the second inner clip. It's really bumpy, and lead runs are lead runs, you know where you want to go, but on a chase run, you're coming up behind somebody in a cloud of smoke, and they may not be going exactly where you want to go, so that could throw you off a little bit. Transitioning through a smoke cloud in a whoop section, that's definitely the trickiest part here.
Being the #1 qualifier, it has its perks. Frederick Osbo with a bye run, that means he advances on to the next round. Next up, an original OG, Ken Gucci, takes down another OG, Kyle Mohan.
Last run in practice, following Austin Meeks, followed him a little too close. He tapped the wall. I tapped the wall behind him and got sucked in, and just really destroyed the car. The rear suspension was all bent. We broke both the motor mounts. The power steering broke. I don't know what else. We did what we could to patch the car back together, put new rear suspension on it, got it out there, but the shock tower's bent, the front alignment's way off. I don't even know about the rear. I mean, and no power steering. Going into that first wall, I almost crashed again. You know, we got a lot of work to do to the car before we head to Atlanta, and hopefully our luck will change.
As Top 32 progresses, Dai Yoshihara, a Day 1 competitor, takes on a sophomore season Dan Burkett, and Dai gets the win.
I think my lead run was better than his, and that was the biggest point that I moved on to top 16.
Peter Visick, who got a podium finish in Long Beach, takes down another freshman driver, Austin Meeks.
I just stamped the throttle and hope that I will get as close as possible in the last corner to him, and it went well. In the end I won, and that's it. Waiting for a top 16 right now.
The next battle poses Dirk Stratton, the current FD rookie leader, going against Matt Kaufman. Matt Kaufman from Medford, Oregon, goes against the wall, taking himself out of competition, allowing Dirk Stratton to advance on to top 16. Next up, Jonathan Castro from Dominican Republic, going against Destin, Florida's own Alec Honadil. Castro had a memorable experience here last year, and he continues on into top 16.
Yeah, we left the line that time. Both Forsberg and I were accelerating hard, but he hit a cone, and a light flashes when you hit that cone, but only the lead driver can see it at this track because it's straight ahead. So I was up behind Forsberg, flicking in, and ran right into him. So definitely a stupid way to start a battle. You're in the zone, but those things happen. It's just the nature of the sport. We ended up losing the battle, and we're wrapping up early in top 32. It's been a really rough weekend for us all the way around. Just some chasing a bunch of gremlins here in Florida, but we're looking forward to Atlanta. We always have a lot of success there, and I'm looking forward to turning the season around there. Congratulations. You better go win now.
After qualifying second, and with only 30 drivers here at this competition, James Dean, the defending champion, has a bye run, advancing on to the top 16. Chelsea Denofa, unable to pull to the line, allowing Forrest Wang to advance on as well. Odi Bakshis versus Kevin Lawrence. Kevin Lawrence, this is his home track, but unfortunately, Odi Bakshis is too much to handle. He advances on. His frenemy, Matt Field, was to go against Jeff Jones, but another unfortunate circumstance, Matt Field moves on to top 16. Justin Pollock against the very exotic Ferrari of Federico Sharifo, the Formula Drift rookie, cannot handle JTP. Justin Pollock moves on. From Lima, Peru, Alex Hilbrun takes on the Irish driver Dean Carney. Dean Carney having a turbo setup, and it takes down Alex Hilbrun. Ryan Turk was to go against Farouk Kawai, but Ryan Turk has a solo run and will find himself in top 16. Christos Blush wants to win here in Orlando. Well, first stop, he takes down Kazuya Taguchi. Champions are among us, and the top 16 is set.
Formula Drift Insider on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by Nexen Tire. Driving tomorrow. By NOS. With Complex 6 for high performance energy and enhanced mental focus. And by Falcon Tires.
The top 16 driver introduction brings fanfare and a lot of pride. Frederick Osbo wants to make it the perfect event. He's going against a first-timer in the top 16, Matt Van Kirk from the Pacific Northwest. That's a hard act to follow when you're going against a former champion. Frederick Osbo eventually takes down Van Kirk. Next up, Dai Yoshihara versus Ken Gushi. Both Falcon Tire teammates, both Day 1 competitors. Gushi moves on.
It's kind of a bad feeling taking out your own teammate and the last two of the standing Japanese drivers in the series, but it is what it is. But that was only the top 16, moving on to the grade 8 now. We're just going to take it one battle at a time, and we had a pretty bad finish last year, so it's kind of like a redemption round for us.
I tried to do as good run as I can. I was really close to the wall in the first bank, and then transition, everything went smooth. I was a bit like not as close to the second front clipping point as I was like to, but all the rest of the track was as I wish, was pretty good, I think.
First run out, lead lap, just put it high on the bank and just run that wall and just try and put down the best 100-point run. The judges seem to be really favoring that today. And in the chase position, we almost bumped into him on the entry. It got a little hairy, but able to kind of regain the car with a little mistake and just got back on his door, following through the finish.
A lot of people wanted to see Forrest and I battle, so finally we managed to make it happen in Orlando. And while I was leading, put down a sweet lead run, very happy with it. He chased me well on the bank, but I think I pulled the gap through the infield. And while he was leading, he initiated really hard, and he got too deep in the wall, and it kind of messed his line up. And when he was coming off the bank, I'm not sure he broke something in the car or what happened, but he made a big error and I managed to hit him pretty hard. So guys are just checking the car, and hopefully it'll be good for our next battle. So moving on to grade 8 and feeling good overall.
I initiated right where I needed to, but he kind of slows down coming off the bank, and I don't.
Yeah.
So I didn't.
Yeah.
I just clobbered.
Yeah, and then I don't know. Honestly, I think like when you got crossed up too, like,
yeah.
Do you think a front tire, like?
I don't know. It definitely, like, I came down on the second battle, came down, went to transition, and the car transitioned and then snapped back, and I was like all over the wheel.
It was a one more time. Went out there. Matt got an incomplete. He screwed up following me. I went out and I got a little greedy with tire pressure being very low, debeated a tire. So it was very stressful to see who would advance overall, and I got the win. So I'm glad to get that out of the way.
Next up has 2 All-American vehicles, one of them American, one of them Irish, with Dean Carney getting taken out by JTP in that Ford Mustang.
It feels great. I mean, it's just, that's where you want to be. You want to continue on. You don't want to end the day early. So we're in the grade 8, and we'll look at who we battle next.
So what we did, we just changed the final drive so I can get more speed on a bank, not to fall off if I'm chasing someone. But instead of that, we just got too much grip, and coming off the bank before transition, I think I even understeer, but just due to that too much grip on the rear.
On my chase lap, I saw Christoph just take off on the bank. I was like, where are you going, dude? So I tried to make up as much ground as I could, lessen angle, try to get up on him, and managed to close the gap right at the end of the run, and we ended up getting a win. Honestly, I got to talk to my spotter some more to see what the deliberation was.
For many drivers, their day is done, but for 8 in particular, they advance on into the grade 8. Another rung in the ladder of the Formula Drift Championship here at Orlando Speed World on Formula Drift Insider.
Formula Drift Insider on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by Black Magic. Own your shine. By Gum Out, Science In, Performance Out. And by Nitto Tire, fueled by enthusiasts.
This is not the maiden voyage of Orlando Speed World. The fans and the history here has forged a great DNA of automotive history. Now the fans are going to see a spectacle that is FD 2018. First up, it's Frederick Osbo, our #1 qualifier. He has to go through Ken Gucci, who wants to knock him off the top.
Oh my God, not a clean run from any of us. Ken had a great lead. I screwed up behind him. Then I had a great chase on him on the first bank. So one of those tit-for-tat battles. I thought it was going to be a one more time, but the judges saw us a winner, so we moved into the top corner.
I was sure that was going to be a one more time or something. I checked up really bad behind you.
Frederick Osbo going for back-to-back podiums. Chris Forsberg wants to get on top of the Bach. First, he needs to do battle with the surging Peter Visick. On his second season, he's showing some strength, but the force is too strong.
It was clearly my mistake, so I'm not very happy about it. But in general, I finished in top 8, so that's good. That's some good points for general classification. And yeah, now fingers crossed for James, and I believe that he will get the podium today.
That was a close battle. I led as hard as I could while leading, put it everywhere we needed to do. He was close to me. I pulled a little gap through the infield, and while chasing, I was very close to him on the bank. He ran a really nice lead run, but I think I had the advantage in my lead run. I know I didn't see it or anything myself, but that's why my spotter told me, and I thought it was going to go one more time, if I'm honest, but we got the win. We're in top 4, and yeah, let's hope we can keep it going.
It was all about the entry, and he pulled on us a little bit, but was able to get up to him. He was running really good angle and really high in the bank. That that line really slows the car down a little bit. I was underneath him until I got to him, and then I kind of stuck to his door and just tried to drive his door as long as I could to the finish line. So we did that. My lead lap was great, and probably the best one I had all weekend. I was like, thank God, finally. And we got the win.
Final 4 begins.
Yeah, we just went one more time with Osbo, and obviously another just killer out of the gate all the time. And they have that new car working perfectly round one. And you know, his line is perfect every time. So I just knew I had to just be up on his door, put down a good lead, and got the win.
Crazy battle here with Chris, and after struggling for a couple seasons, he's back with a vengeance, and he had a crazy fast car and killer performance on my door all the way through, and I just didn't have a comeback for that. Ended up going slightly off track, and that was all she wrote.
I drove the best I did all weekend, and he got the win, unfortunately, but I felt like it stepped up my game a little bit. I know what I need to work on. I need to get closer, stop being tentative behind guys when I'm driving them. My lead lap was great, but he had closed the door longer and for more time than I did, so he got the win.
Biggest thing, I knew I had to chase him hard. I chased him as hard as I could in the bank, was super close to him, felt great. I think we won it on our lead run, so it feels great to be back in the podium, so very happy overall.
After a long day at Orlando Speed World, 2 champions are left to do battle on track. Who's gonna get the win, James Dean or Chris Forsberg? Both are hungry for a win.
Front went in very hard, swung around, hit the back, so the stuff bent on the rear left, and front left is pretty bad, so hopefully the chassis is okay, because arms are pretty easy to replace, and yeah, we'll get it all fixed up for Atlanta, and looking forward to it.
Yeah, just super pumped with the result today. Getting on top of the box is exactly where we want to be. And it's been a minute. We've gotten a lot of 2s and 3s, but to get number 1 today after everything we went through last year, and then even last night here till midnight, 12:30 even, working on the car, swapping the motor, trying to give us the best car that we could. We're just all going for it, and like that kind of dedication and the work and the effort that goes in to put on this show is what makes FD the best.
Round 2, Orlando Speed World is in the books. Next stop, Road Atlanta, where it all began 15 years ago for the Formula Drift Championship. Be sure to follow along on all episodes of Formula Drift Insider. In association with Formula Drift, this has been a presentation of CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports.